Good morning, everyone. My name's Rosemary Peters. I'm a National Product Manager with Graybar. I'd like to welcome you to Graybar's G2 Talk presentation on Making the Switch to Affordable LED Solutions. This talk is part of a webinar series we offer each month for our customers. We have a great discussion lined up for you today, but before we get started, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. First of all, if you were one of the first 50 people who joined in on this presentation, you will receive a coupon for a free cup of coffee, courtesy of Graybar, as a thank you for your time today. Also, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a box for Q&A. Feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation. We'll address as many questions as time permits at the end of the presentation. Lastly, our G2 Talks are all archived on graybar.com website, so you'll be able to view this presentation again or recommend it to others. We're happy today to team up with GE Lighting. As a full-service distributor and energy product specialist, Graybar works alongside GE to deliver the latest lighting technology to help provide significant energy savings and ease of installation. You can visit graybar.com to learn more about our solutions. At this time, I'm happy to introduce today's speakers. We're excited to have a panel of experts from GE Lighting joining us. First, we'll hear from Matt Curry. He's a brand manager at GE Lighting. Matt's focus is solving customer and end user issues, so we know we'll have some great information to share today. And to round out our discussion, we'll also hear from GE Senior Product Managers Chris Gonzalez and Ed Saratsky. Both have extensive knowledge about LEDs and many years of experience with GE. So without further delay, I'll turn things over to Matt to begin today's presentation. Take it away, Matt.
Thank you, Rosemary. As Rosemary mentioned, my name is Matt, and I'm a brand manager here at GE. Today, my colleagues and I will be covering a few things. We'll start with myself covering the LED trends in the marketplace to set the stage for what's really going on in the market with LEDs, followed by covering two products, the LED Bright Stick and the LED plug-in product. Okay, so jumping right in, when we take a look at electricity consumption in the United States, it's very important from a practical perspective, both to the DOE, the Department of Energy, as well as end users. And why is this? Well, it's very important because more than 17% of electricity consumption comes from lighting. And more than that, you know, LED can really have a huge impact on reducing that consumption. So if we look at the timeline of 2020, the DOE estimates that we can reduce energy consumption from lighting by 15% in 5 years. Furthermore, when we look out to 2030, the DOE estimates that we can reduce energy consumption from lighting by 40%. This results in not only operating cost savings for end users, but it also really helps out electricity producers and companies, meaning that they have less strain on the grid, as well as not having to build new lighting plants. When we take a look at the next slide here, we're going to look at the installed base estimates for LED. So this is looking at what is the overall LED penetration of lamps in the commercial market. So starting at 2015, the estimates are only 8% of the sockets out there are filled with LED lamps, relatively low. Now we look to 2020, and that 8% is going to jump to 42% in the next 5 years. Now when we look out to 2025, the penetration rate of that installed base is going to jump to almost 70%. So what's the key takeaway here? I mean, basically, in the next 5 years, we are going to see tremendous growth in LED lamps, and the penetration will just continue to double year over year. And by 2025, again, we're over 2/3 penetration of LED lamps. So the next 5 to 10 years is just going to be explosive growth with LED lamps. And we take a look at the next page here, and we're going to look at some of the drivers that are really increasing the adoption of LED. And when we look at these drivers, there's really three main drivers. The first one is energy legislation. So many of you are probably familiar with this by now, but this all started with the Energy Independence and Security Act of 2007. And this was really enacted to make sure that products such as lighting were more energy efficient, to reduce the strain on the grid, and just overall help the efficiency levels that manufacturers produce products at. So many think that this legislation actually phased out incandescent in total, and that's not completely accurate. What it actually did was created lumen ranges that had to be met for lighting products. They had to meet minimum lumen requirements, and they also had maximum rated wattage requirements, followed by minimum rated lifetimes. So basically, you could continue to create any product you wanted, but it had to fall in with a certain lumen range, a maximum wattage range, and a minimum lifetime range. So that still leaves, you still have your incandescent technology, but the general purpose 60 through 100 watt incandescent bulbs, as we've all known, had to be phased out because they did not meet those requirements. So what you're left with is a halogen technology, a CFL technology, and an LED technology. So we take a look at the enhanced performance of LEDs that has really continued to escalate over the last few years. And when we look at that enhanced performance, it really comes down to three things. The first one is the ability to reduce maintenance costs. LEDs, as we know, have a very long operating life. You're going to have anywhere from 12,000 hours to 50,000 hours, depending on the lamp. So very long operating life. And you also have an increased efficiency. Obviously, very much more efficient than incandescent, about 80% more efficient than incandescent, and even more efficient than CFL, which is an efficient product. It's still about 20% more efficient than your CFL product. Additionally, you have less heat from LED lighting, so that helps reduce your other energy costs because you're not creating, in the summertime, you're not creating additional heat, which means that you have to have higher air conditioning costs. And lastly, with maintenance costs, you have minimal light loss, and what that means is LED lighting is very much more targeted, so you can use fewer lumens, fewer watts to put the light exactly where you want it, and it's not being wasted in spaces where you don't need that illumination. The second piece that we want to focus on as far as performance is the installation flexibility. And with LEDs, the size of the lamp is a lot smaller than many incandescent, halogen, and CFL products. You have a lot of flexibility to be able to fit into more applications, more sockets. And there's also much more durability. So most LEDs are plastic, which means that they're shatter resistant, so you don't have as much worry in transporting, installing, and overall using the lamps. You don't have as much worry about breakage. And lastly, under the flexibility, there's no mercury in LEDs, which is a big plus moving over from CFL to LEDs. You don't have the hazardous material worry that you do have with CFL, and they don't fall into the recycling regulations as CFL. Lastly, under enhanced performance, we want to look at the fact that this is truly a no-compromise lighting solution. So not only does it have improved color rendition, meaning a higher CRI, which basically translates to things look more normal, more real under this light. The higher CRI, the more close it is to regular daylight that you would see with the sun. So LEDs have a higher CRI, which gives you better color rendition. And they also have instant brightness. So different from CFL, where you have a little bit of that lag time waiting for that CFL to fully warm up and get full brightness. LEDs are instant on, instant brightness, so don't have any of those concerns there. And you also have a choice of different color temperatures depending on your setting. Dimmability and controllability are also excellent with LED. Some challenges there with CFL. Don't have as many challenges with dimmability and controllability with LED. And lastly, LEDs love cold temperatures. So with some of your fluorescent products have a little bit more of a challenge starting up in colder conditions. LEDs love it and they thrive there. So a big plus for LEDs on that. And lastly, we look at the rapid price decreases that are occurring with LEDs. Now, if you're paying any attention at all to the lighting market, you probably noticed, LEDs a few years ago were anywhere from, $35 to $45 for an LED lamp. Now you're seeing them as low as, $5, even lower. So prices continue to fall rapidly, and that's basically due to the fact that a lot of the large manufacturers are ramping up their production, so higher volumes start to translate into lower component costs, as well as it's just a very highly competitive market. And the reason it is so competitive is, going back to the couple of pages we talked about before, as far as the size of the prize that's out there for sockets to convert. Everybody wants to get a hold of those sockets, so it's really driving up the competitiveness of the market, which means a very affordable LED solutions that are becoming available. Okay, so those are all the main drivers that are really affecting the adoption of LED and that are really helping that adoption to increase exponentially over the next few years. Next page we're going to talk about here is just looking at the U.S. lighting market, specifically the commercial market. So when we look at the market, what is the size of the opportunity out there to convert? Well, the commercial market has about 2 billion sockets out there for LED lamps, which means, billions of opportunities to get LED lamps in those sockets. Now, when we look at the installed lamps that are out there, the DOE estimates that only 160 million LED lamps have been installed in those 2 billion sockets. So what does that leave us with? Well, it leaves us with a tremendous opportunity, an opportunity of 1.84 billion lamps to convert to LED. So as we saw before, the next 5 to 10 years, these 1.84 billion lamps are going to get, penetrated into these sockets. So this is really over the next few years is really the time to get these lamps out there. Okay. Now we move on to the next page here. We saw all of the trends that are kind of going on in the LED market, all the key drivers that are driving adoption and why moving to LEDs is so important and why it's going to continue to rapidly increase. Now what we're going to do is cover a couple of our newest innovative products. The first one's going to be the LED Bright Stick, followed by our LED plug-in. So now I'm going to turn it over to Chris, our product manager for Bright Stick.
All right, thank you, Matt, and definitely thank you, Graybar, for allowing us, GE, to be on the call, and thank you everyone on the call for taking your time out of your day to get a little training in. So what we're introducing here is the GBright Stick, and I am happy to say that Graybar and GE partnered together to bring this out to market first. Currently, Graybar is the only one with the GBright Stick from GE, and we're excited because of the type of coverage Graybar has and the customers that they will be able to really bring the adoption on this lamp out there. So we're pretty excited. Now, what is the GBright Stick? It looks a little bit different, but what it is, it's a typical A-line replacement. So the initial one here is a 60-watt replacement. And how this came about was we challenged our technology team. We said, we need something that we can drive a lot of cost out, but we cannot give up on the GE quality. So we gave them no boundaries besides that, and this is the shape they came up with. Now, Matt went through a lot of different statistics and numbers about the market and the adoption. And one of the things that we found along with that is there's a typical customer, there's a variety of customers out there, I'll say, and one of them that hasn't quite adopted yet the LED technology is the one that was really looking for a low price point. You know, they were willing to give up on some of the grander benefits, such as extremely long life, like 25,000 hours, or the other efficiencies. They wanted something that had a lot of the benefits of LED, but they wanted that low cost price point. So that's what this product is. It's GE quality, it's a low price point, but it is a solid performer. So when we look at the GBright Stick and what it is, and here's the specs on it. This particular one is a 60 watt equivalent. It is 15,000 hours, so it is 5,000 hours more than your typical CFL. It comes in a 3-pack because of the low price point. We are confident people will be purchasing it in larger quantities. It's non-dim. Again, that's one of those that when we went to the customer and went on the initial design of this, people said, you know, typically a lot of our A-lines, we do not dim this particular location. But in a minute, we'll show you the GE variety and where the dimming fits in. It is non-Energy Star, non-DLC, but when we talk about that, we'll be expanding the line on the Bright Stick, so there will be opportunities for different wattages and an Energy Star version in the near future. But with this particular one, it is, again, GE quality along with a value price on here. Really, another thought process of this is when people talk about the adoption LED and where this really helps people to convert. And I believe Matt will get in a moment too, is we view this as almost a CFL killer. You know, maybe that's not the right word, but when you start getting these lower price points and be able to get a performer like this, you're going to see the adoption over CFL happen a lot quicker. And that's typically where a lot of people went for their efficiencies. But again, when we talk about the variety, and this isn't just to GE, this is kind of a setup a lot of the lighting manufacturers do, a kind of a good, better, best scenario. So our best scenario would be our Energy Star, which would be on the left. So you're getting your dimming, you're getting your 25,000 hours worth of life. Our typical, what we would call our value line, is the 15,000 hours dimming still. And then here's our good product, you know, the Bright Stick. Non-dim, 15,000 hours, but it hits a lot of the marks that people are wanting. It's interesting with this, as you talk about an LED and there's so many benefits to it, at what point are there too many offerings? You know, I think when we saw CFL and incandescent, there was a lot of niches where it'd be rough service or, you know, a little bit brighter, you know, and so with LED, it solves a lot of the problems. So you'll start seeing people's offering or variety of products slimming down, you know, as we only have 3 here. At some point, this may even become a 2 because you still get all the benefits out of the LED and the price points coming down. So it will be interesting, but this would be your typical for GE or other manufacturers, how they offer the A-line. Now, what I like to do as we talk about the Bright Stick and the marketing behind it and where we view this will really benefit everyone on the call, I'm going to turn it over to Matt here, and he's going to go through a few more slides.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so what I want to talk about now is just the appearance of the Bright Stick. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, it's kind of strange shape, not quite what we're used to when we think of traditional light bulbs and the shape and the appearance of them. And what are end users, what are consumers going to think about this product? Are they going to adopt it? Are they willing to accept it? And that was a concern for us too. But the shape, the reason for the shape, number one, it really allows us to get to that low cost and that affordability that a large segment of the market is looking for in order to adopt to LED. So number one, that was the catalyst for the shape. Now, when we found out that we could get to an affordability point with the shape, we still had to do the research and get the understanding of, will people accept this? Will they use it? So we did take this product to research. We conducted focus groups with consumers, and we got all of the questions answered as far as, what do people think about this product? Will they use it? Will they accept the shape? We were obviously a little bit nervous that there might be some pushback to the non-traditional shape. But to our surprise, when we did conduct these focus groups, it was overwhelmingly positive, the responses that we got from the focus group panelists. Some of the quotes that we have from those groups were some descriptions of the product included that it's very sleek, that it's modern looking, and even that it's state-of-the-art. These types of descriptions we were very happy to hear and were surprised, but consumers really thought of it as a cool looking, modern, sleek lamp, which was great to hear, and what helped us propel forward with bringing this product to market. Some additional comments that we heard from consumers was, as they felt it and handled it and screwed it into sockets, they told us that it was very easy to handle, easier to handle than traditional light bulbs. That they felt that it seemed stronger and sturdier. We got comments like, when I used to screw in those old incandescent bulbs, I was always afraid that the glass was going to break in my hand because they're, so delicate. And with this lamp, it felt sturdy. I could grab a hold of it. I could squeeze it and turn it without having to worry that it's going to break on me. And the last comment that we heard that was very encouraging was, a lot of people like to store light bulbs. Not only do you need to transport light bulbs to different projects, but kind of keep a storage on hand so that you're not running out when you need them. And what we heard was, because of the size and shape and packaging, that these are very easy to stack and store and transport. And that there wasn't that concern of, well, if I have a bunch laying around, they're all going to get broken. That concern that you'd have with an incandescent or halogen or CFL lamp, that I may have a case of 24, but what happens if something tips over on the box and now they're all broken? With these lamps, the durability really allowed for that storing and transport, is what we heard. So all these were great comments and definitely helped us to understand that the acceptance of the product was definitely there, and propelled us to keep moving forward. So with that, now I want to talk about the applications for this product. Where is it used? So obviously this is a general purpose product, so the applications are going to be very broad. Basically, in your commercial properties, you're going to be looking to replace your traditional medium screw CFLs, where those may have been the most viable, long life, low energy, affordable solution. Now you have an LED to replace that CFL that offers a lot more benefits as well. And then it's also a good replacement for incandescent as well. So when we look at where are these going to be used in what industries, what applications, obviously it's going to be very broad, but mainly two key applications are going to be, number one, your hospitality applications. So your hotels, restaurants, things of that nature are going to be really applications to key in on. And then second, the whole apartment type of application is going to be another one that will allow a tremendous opportunity. And then additionally, you have your applications of healthcare, office buildings, government institutions, as well as schools and universities. Okay. Now I just want to go over some of the key features and benefits of the product. So number one, as Chris kind of touched on, it's a very affordable product. So it's for the first time ever in history, you can have an affordable LED to replace CFL. Second, lamp life. You get a nice long life with this product. So compared to a regular CFL, you're going to get about 50% longer life. So that's going to last you 15,000 hours versus typical CFL, which is going to last about 10,000 hours. And you're going to save, the end user is going to save money on energy here. So the typical Bright Stick is going to save about $82 in energy costs over the life of the lamp. So that's using 80% less energy than incandescent and about 20% less energy than a CFL. Obviously, simplicity is key here. There's not any kind of retrofit or wiring. It's just a matter of unscrew that CFL and screw in this LED. Reduced maintenance in terms of the long life is going to allow you to screw it in once and not have to change it for another 15,000 hours. And you're not going to have to worry about it, breaking or, while it's in the socket or on the way to being installed. And then the sustainability factor. It really allows worry-free use and disposal, being that there's no mercury in this product or any other hazardous chemicals. Okay, so next page I wanted to review with you is just kind of looking at an example of some challenges that are out there and how the product it really is a solution to some of those challenges. So we look at many are looking to implement an affordable cost savings product that's really going to reduce overall operating costs for years to come, as well as have less harsh chemicals in buildings and really try to meet sustainability initiatives. So you take those challenges and how does this LED Bright Stick stack up to that? Well, again, it's going to save $82 over the life of the lamp. You're not going to have to break the bank to get this in the socket. It's an affordable solution to CFL and incandescent. And again, it offers a sustainability initiative here, being that it's worry-free use and disposal, not having any mercury in the product whatsoever. Okay, so that's kind of the key features, benefits, applications. Now I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that when you next time you are in one of your Graybar locations, please look out for the product. We will have promotional merchandising both on end caps as well as some counter displays. So please keep an eye out for the product and try it out for yourself. Okay. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Ed, and Ed is our product manager for the LED plug-in lamp. Ed, it's all yours.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, I'm going to talk about another product to replace CFL, but it's a little bit different. We're launching an LED plug-in, which is a replacement for the inefficient CFL plugins that you see out there in the marketplace. There are millions and millions of sockets of CFL plugins. I mean, every commercial building has anywhere from a few to a couple hundred. You see them in apartment complex, hallways, hotels, hospitals, retail applications. So I think anywhere you go, you're going to see a CFL plug-in. And those CFL plug-in range from a wattage from 13 up to 42 wattage. We are launching a 26-watt plug-in. And what's the key benefits of an LED replacement really comes down to three things. One, the life. 2.5 times the life of a typical CFL plug-in that ranges anywhere from 12 to 20,000 hours. So the key there is, again, You replace with an LED, you don't have to worry it. You don't have to replace that CFL plug-in after 12 or 20,000 hours. You have that LED that has a 5-year warranty and 50,000 hours. The second one is really simplicity. It is a true plug-and-play. There is no rewiring. There is no messing with the ballast. You use the existing ballast that is there. It's simply taking the CFL plug-in out and plugging in the LED replacement. And then the key is really the energy savings. So half the energy use with the LED. These products are at 12 watts. If you compare that to a 26-watt 4-pin CFL, which operates at 26 watts, you can see definitely more than half the energy use. And from a lumen standpoint, the LED is 950 to 1,000 lumens. And you might say, well, hey, that 26 CFL plug-in is 1,800 lumens. The thing you need to consider is those cans or reflectors that are being used currently out there in the marketplace are about 50% efficient, which means you take that 1,800 lumens, you take it in half, you're really getting about 900 lumens. With the LED replacement, you're directing that light downward where you need it. So with 950 to 1,000 lumens, you're actually getting the same light output that you are with the CFL. If you look at the bottom of the page here, you can see there's going to be two different lamps. There's a horizontal lamp for 1 or 2 lamp applications, and then there's a vertical lamp that looks like a BR30 or a PAR 30. So you can see that the light is being directed down where you need it. On the horizontal, one of the key features is we do have a swivel head. If you think about CFL plug-in as they exist today, they're 360. This is a pin base, so this allows you to plug it in, and then you can rotate the lamp downward to place the light. So again, 3 key benefits for this product. I'm going to pass this back over to Matt, who's going to go through some additional benefits on the product.
Okay, thank you, Ed. All right, so when we look at applications for the LED plug-in, the replacement here is obviously going to be very specific. So as Ed mentioned, this is a easy plug-and-play retrofit for 4-pin plug-in CFLs. So not any other replacements here besides the 4-pin plug-in CFL. When we look at where those are used, again, the applications here are going to be pretty broad, but the areas to target for application are going to be office, hotel, retail, and hospital. Okay. Now, when we look at the features and benefits of the product, Ed already touched on most of these, but again, this is a simple plug-and-play product. It's going to use the existing ballast, which means there's no wiring, no electrician needed. Again, you're going to get that long lamp life, so it's going to last 2.5 times longer than your typical CFL, giving you 50,000 hours of life. And you're going to get savings on energy. So again, you're going to get 50% less energy than a CFL, and that's comparing a 12-watt LED to a 26-watt CFL. And then you get many other benefits such as reduced maintenance. You hit on sustainability as well as helping to meet corporate mandates for different building codes and corporate initiatives that are out there. Okay, and so when we look at an example of, how does this energy savings really stack up? Well, when we look at the LED plug-in, one LED plug-in will save over $71 over the life of the lamp. So if we say, the average commercial building has 25 lamps, and insert your quantity here, but for this example, we use 25. We multiply that out times the dollar savings, and one building with 25 socket applications, and we get close to $1,800 of savings over the life of the lamp. So we can see the benefit in real dollars for this stacks up very quickly. So with that, I just want to recap for a minute. We talked about all the trends that are occurring in the LED lamp market. So lots of good stuff going on. There's going to be tremendous growth over the next 5 to 10 years. Now is definitely the time to strike to talk about the product, that it's really an affordable option to convert to now. that adoption is going to occur rapidly, and once those sockets get tied up, it's going to delay the cycle time to get new LEDs in those sockets. So now is definitely the time to strike. Now is the time to be talking about the product, to be using the product as an affordable solution to things like CFL. So we had Chris cover the LED Bright Stick, great affordable solution for your typical CFL spiral medium base product. We had Ed cover the LED plug-in, which is great solution for your typical 4-pin CFL. And with that, I will thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. And I will turn it over to Rosemary for any additional comments and questions.
Well, thank you, Matt, Chris, and Ed. That was a great presentation. At this time, we're going to address some of the questions that have been submitted. As a reminder, you can submit a question using the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And if we don't get to your question, a Graybar representative will follow up with you after the presentation. And I want to let everyone know that we will send everyone who's in attendance on this webinar a PDF copy of the slides. So let's get to some of the questions. The first question that I have is, are these vibration resistant?
Okay. For the Bright Stick, with your typical LED, they perform really well in vibration scenarios. And that's because they're basically solid state lighting, which means there's no filament or small type of components that could break real easy under vibration. So if you think about a typical incandescent rough surface vibration, really how they accomplish that is just by adding a lot more filament connections in there. So as one or two breaks, there's still existing lighting filaments. But with LEDs, most of them are very vibration resistant, so it works well in ceiling fans or near equipment that might be producing a lot of vibration.
Okay, the next question. Are the color values increasing to the point that folks will look healthier illuminated by LED light?
I'll take that one. Go ahead.
Well, I guess to answer the question, so typical LEDs out there, standard LEDs are 80 CRI, and there are products out there that do go up to the 90 CRI and even beyond the 90 CRI, which gets you closer to that more natural look that Matt was talking about earlier. But those are what we would not consider a standard LED product, but they do exist.
Here's another question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add one comment to that is, for me personally, and when I'm asked something around that type of the lighting and how it'll make something look, to each individual really is how we're all different on what we view as a good-looking quality of light. So some people like warmer colors or cooler colors, and then sometimes the actual area you're trying to light up, whether there's browns or reds, really there's a lot of ways to tailor a lamp, and that's, as Ed mentioned, CRI, lumens. There's also other types of technical terms to try to really pinpoint a quality of light. So I would say you really, based on the situation and how you perceive the light, you almost have to pick for yourself to know what good quality of light will make an area look well.
Okay. What about Energy Star or DLC?
Question on the plugin. So the plugin, currently there is not a category for Energy Star. So the current product is not Energy Star qualified. They are working on creating a category for the LED plugins, but I would not expect to see a category until sometime in 2016.
And then for the Bright Stick, currently they're not Energy Star or DLC. We do have plans, though, first quarter of next year of launching an Energy Star 60-watt replacement. So that will be coming. I will say, though, as if anybody is curious on Energy Star DLC and how it would relate to utility rebates, I know I've been in active talks along with other GE team members that have gotten the Bright Stick and the CFL plug-in approved on utility rebate programs. They're more treated as a specialty to it. So don't get discouraged if you're trying to use some sort of utility funding to help with a project. Just make sure you have those questions up front with your utility agents, and you may be able to still get them qualified. Or you can come to Graybar or GE, and we can help assist with that.
Okay, we've got several questions around what is the max temp of the lamp, and is it enclosed rated, and usage in cans?
Okay, for the Bright Stick, it is not enclosed rated. It is rated up to 40 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. So if you look at typical LEDs, whether it be ours or other manufacturers, the 40, sometimes 45 degrees Celsius ambient temperature rating, that's usually where they all sit. So it really falls in the same category. But as far as enclosed rating, that's always a good question because there are different definitions out there of what that max temperature rating would be, and whether it's Energy Star or sometimes even Deterrent Energy, they have individual what they would call qualifications of what an enclosed lamp would be. So it gets tricky, but if you have a particular situation, by all means, we'd be more than happy to help you to understand if it needs to be enclosed rated or if the lamp would work in that enclosed rating for you.
So real quick on the plug-in. The plug-in is open rated only, so it will not work in an enclosed fixture. And similar temperature ranges as Chris had mentioned.
Okay, here's another question. Will the LED plug-ins work on dimming ballast?
This gen will not work on dimming ballast. We will look at, next generation, looking at having a product that will work on a dimming ballast, but the current generation product does not work on a dimming ballast.
Okay, here's a question on the Bright Stick. Can it be used in any burn position?
Yeah, great question. Yes, it is a universal burn, so it can have the base up, base down, horizontal, or any other configuration that you could install it in.
Here's a general question on LED lamps. Are they available in candelabra base?
This particular Bright Stick, no, but generally we do offer a variety of what it would be E12 or candelabra base. Mostly it's in our deco, so decorative, where you talk about your bent tip and globes. So those are available, and I'm sure we'd have something that would help fit your situation if you reach out to us.
Here's one last question. Is it damp rated?
For the Bright Stick, it is damp rated. So there are three particular ratings that people are familiar with: dry, damp, and wet. And what the differences are is dry means very little humidity inside. Damp means you are able to have it in areas of higher humidity, but should not come in direct contact with actual water. And then your wet rating is definitely your outdoor, where it will be seeing contact with water. So, but the Bright Stick on this particular one is damp rated.
Well, we're about out of time at this point. And thank you again, Matt, Chris, and Ed. And if we didn't get to your question, a Graybar representative will follow up with you after the presentation. And as a reminder, this presentation will be archived on the graybar.com website. And again, thank you for your time today, and we hope you'll join us again soon for an upcoming G2 talk.
Thank you, everyone.